Welcome, everyone, and to the Can I Be the Man live stream that we do every Friday and Saturday. Um, man, it's been a great week. It's been a great week. We started the Can I Be the Man morning show um, with the frequency. That's every Tuesday and Thursday from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. If you missed it, you make sure you go to either the frequency page or to the Can I Be the Man page so that you can catch up on everything that has been talked about. Um, of course, pre-orders for the Can I Be the Man, a letter from us to you book where all of this is actually originated from. Pre-orders are out right now, literally on Amazon, Barnes and Noble, Kindle, and a few other places. But those are the ones that I'm actually pushing and pumping out right now. And so you already know what it is. We about to have another great discussion. We will be doing like a mini special tomorrow for the discussion that we're gonna have. So instead of y'all always seeing men on here, you might just possibly be able to see one or two women that's going to be up here on tomorrow. So make sure you catch up with us um, then as well. All right. But again, big shout out to the frequency for allowing me to bring the kingdom over to their platform. Big shout out to Ateamtv. Ateamtv, and just to the A team altogether. If y'all don't know who that is, it's knowing it together, encouraging all men. Everybody that's on this platform right now is a part of it. It's a part of it. So I'm gonna go ahead and jump out the horn real quick. And D, what we talking about today, man?
Well, then first I want to say RIP to BMX. One of
Oh,
the greatest to ever lift the mic. But topic of the day, fact or fiction. Has has the feminist movement been a positive situation for women or has it been a curse?
oh, say again.
The feminist movement, is it a gift or has it been a curse for women in today's society?
The feminist movement, has it been a gift or has it been a curse? All right, I'm gonna let somebody else start out on that one.
All right, I'll start. No, it has not. It has not been. That is an Anglo-Saxon movement. That is an Anglo-Saxon issue. And they have drawn our sisters into their issue to perpetrate like the same issues they had with their counterparts is the same issues that we had with our, that our sisters had with us. And so in essence, it's got us in a tizzy fighting over nothing. I'm gonna leave it right there. I'm gonna be D and be short and sweet.
I'm at the second that the feminist movement has become and has shifted into the biggest curse, mainly a curse because of the reasons that Lee just illustrated and narrated. But a lot of people like to say that the feminist movement was all about options. And in its beginning state, yeah. But that's something that just doesn't last long, because once you give people options, then they want to use those options to appease themselves or their groups. And that's what this has become, because it went from having options to, all right, my options are top priority, or my opinion is top priority. So it's no longer the right to choose, but more so what I choose is what you need to accept.
Okay, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna say it depends on how you look at it, but I want to say no, it has not been a blessing. I say that because people pick and choose when they want to be created equal to men, but under the grand scheme of things, it's made men lazy. I was listening to KingNaib speak yesterday, and I shared the status, and it says, I'm trying to remember what I said. I said something about the feminine movement. It's basically made the common male lazy, and it has. That's why you can't say that you want men to be men like back in the old school days and preach independence. And then whenever you want somebody to see you as fully equal in every facet of that term, then turn around and say that men don't do their job. A lot of men get complacent when it happens, especially whenever R2, the basis of a man is to provide and protect. I'm like, they feel like they just go meet you and they go give you as basically the bare minimum as they possibly can and leave you to do the rest. That's why when you start talking about these men that want to go 50-50 on the bills and stuff of that nature, they feel like, well, shoot, you work just like I do. You got to pay like you pay too. Like, why should I do X, Y, Z whenever you can do it too? Your hands ain't broke.
Yep. That is it. Man, you took the words right out of my mouth. It definitely, women's independence has definitely made men lazy, period. The whole idea of having to figure out ways to provide for the family, I went all out the window. I ain't got to think no more. You go out there, find a job, and you help me take care of these bills. That's literally what it boils down to. You have a lot of different aspects to this movement that has been detrimental to our household. Now, first thing that I am going to say is that as men, we need to take part of the blame for it because we allowed this stuff, this nonsense to happen. You know, we knew that ain't had nothing to do with us at all. Nothing. You know, we didn't have the means nor the ability to do any type of oppression to our women. Now, what I will say is this, right? There was some things physically and emotionally that was going on that needed to be corrected. Needed to be corrected. But not to the extent that we're looking at it right now, today. You know, those things could have been cleaned up through what we're doing right now, which is accountability. Accountability. But to allow it to get to this point right here, no, we definitely have to take some of the blame in reference to it. But the good thing is it's not too late to correct it. Some people feel like it is, but in essence, it's not. It is not. And the thing about it is, and the way I look at it is that the feminist movement was like the nail in the coffin. You know, it was other things that was happening that was going on prior to the feminist movement. It was just a nail in the coffin. And now there's a lot of confusion. It's a lot of confusion when it comes down to status. We was talking about it on the show yesterday, and Lady Latina, she was talking about how her status, in essence of being a businesswoman, is supersedes her status as being a mother. And that's crazy to me. Yeah, because no longer is it within us, is it that being a husband, being a wife, being a father, being a mother, the highest status in our lives. And it should be. It should be. We've lost the essence of how what's the word for it? I'll put it to you like this: no amount of money or no amount of success can ever outweigh the ability to bring another life onto this earth and watch that life grow and succeed. But that's how we view things right now. It's literally how we view things right now. I don't know. Y'all let me know. What's y'all thoughts?
Yeah, we've taken the most. It was a Ponzi scheme to the T, because the most critical and vital role has not only been vacated, but somehow the compassion, maybe that was not the compassion, but the passion for that role has been sucked out of it too, because the feminist movement has made looking at that role, or the feminist movement is partly to blame for looking at that vital role as a bad thing. Like it's a bad thing it's to be looked down upon. If you take care of those kids, it's looked down upon if you raising and rearing those kids. Make it sure that the house is just maintained. We ain't got to go through the details of it, but making sure the house is maintained. And it's just like today's modern woman, she wants her expectations are now she wants a superhero. She wants a superhero. She wants you to do all of the things that you used to do, and she wants you to do more. She wants you to do the role of a man and maintain the role of a man, but she wants you to at least come over and do 50% and sometimes even more of the role of a wife. She wants you to cook. She wants you to clean. Oh, I cooked today. It's your turn to cook tomorrow. And that happens in a lot of households, and a lot of men are acquiesce to it. They don't want to do it, but it's just like, well, it only seems fair. And then they're not thinking about how much energy that you're expending, pulling away from that when you could be spending more energy doing what you were created and designed to do. If you would be able to, for an example, like let's say a person is in sales and they go out there and they make $500, but they got to hurry up and come home because they got to hurry up and do them dishes, and they got to hurry up and, make dinner because it's their night. Well, how did you profit from that? Nope. You could have been at work still working, and you could have made another $500 more, and you could have set yourself up and your family up for something else. That's $500 extra you could have invested, and you could have, had a domino effect in terms of building something from a financial standpoint. So, and then a lot of times I see it, and at least when I was growing up, a lot of times I've seen women today, they want men that they want the role of a man, but they don't want the accountability part. They don't want no parts of that. As soon as things go wrong, and I know I'm gonna catch flack for it, bring it, but as soon as things go wrong, she kind of do just like Eve. She kind of slip back. She point the finger and say, it was you, it was him. He was the reason. And that is the role of a man, a husband and a father, is for him to assume the responsibility of his family. But a lot of times when you want a role, you want more influence, you want to have more of say in the deal. All we're saying is, well, why can't you take the accountability part when things fall apart? Why you got to throw it back on me? So if you're not going to take the accountability part, then why don't you just do the things that you are going to be accountable for? Why don't you do the things that you're designed to do so that quite naturally you can be accountable for it? Because my children, for instance, people say, oh, well, your children are so, they're so polite and they're so smart, or, man, wow, they're doing fractions and this, that, and the other, whatever the case may be. I mean, I can't take credit for that. I have to give credit to where credit is due. And that's mama. Mama's at home working with them on those fractions. Mama's at home working with them on that reading. Mama's raising those children. And yes, those children are my investment, but that's part of the deal that we have. And that's why I go out there personally and I work hard. And she allows me to do that, and I allow her to do what she's doing.
So you mentioned roles, right? And I wanna expound on that just for a second. My question is, how did we lose? How did we lose and just the concept in itself? How do we lose the concept of the roles and that we play within the home? How?
It goes back to in my opinion, it goes back to this word that we keep talking about, accountability. I'm leaving the woman out of the equation. What role models do men have to go off of in order to properly lead? On the conversations that I had with women, that be their biggest issue. They can't find a man to properly lead the family in every facet, whether it's definitely financially, but that seems to be everybody's common issue. But I want to go deeper into that. Start talking about their oneness with God. A lot of them don't have that relationship. You know, you get a lot of people that talk about having a relationship with God, but they don't really have no moral guidance compass at the end of the day. But the communication be lacking for the most part. So you know, you're not emotionally seeing eye to eye with your woman either. But definitely financially, you get a lot of men who don't. Okay, I put it to you like this. I try to tell people this all the time. Everybody is not meant to be a boss. You need workers. But with that being said, even if you are not the so-called alpha male per se, you don't own your own business and bringing in 6 figures or more, as Kevin Samuels would say, is like the top 10% of men. What are you doing as far as being able to provide for your family? You get a lot of people that are content with working 8 hours a day, just bringing in $12 a day, $12 an hour. You bringing in about $600 a week at the most or whatever. You can't take care of a full-fledged family off about $2,400 a month. Not as far if you're really trying to strive for something, but if you're not trying to live check, you can't do that. A lot of people won't go 50-50. They want to say, why don't you hit me with this, that, and the third? And I get the whole thing now. You almost have to have a two-parent household income now. You got to. That's how society made it, the cost of living. But there are a lot of dudes that I see, they don't have the inspiration to go out there and try to get all the money. They are content with one stream of income. And they are content with a woman working too. That's it.
I think to piggyback off of that is that men, right, we have lost our ability to dream. We lost our ability to dream. I'm gonna break it down like this, right? How we were brought up. And I asked this question yesterday, and I'm gonna ask it again today. Everybody on the panel, what was the first toy that y'all can remember y'all had? The first toy. Basketball. What about you, Lee?
Boy, that is the dumb question to me. Yes, it was basketball.
Basketball. What about you, Chris? What's the first toy you can remember?
I know I had a lot of sports toys.
Sports toys?
And music and stuff.
Now, don't get me wrong. You know what I'm saying? Sports, things of that particular nature is great. All right, but when you talk to most women, the first toy that they receive was a doll, kitchen set, something of that nature. So literally, the first toys that they receive is teaching them something about womanhood. First toys we receive is something to teach us how to play games. How to play games. And it's like that through the duration of our life. We convert those games that we became passionate about, or now we put down those kid toys and we pick up big old adult toys. And those dreams, in essence, that we was having, those dreams of being a doctor, or dreams of being a lawyer, dreams of being artists, anything of that particular nature, get caught up, get lost. Because right now, especially within our culture, the only way that you're gonna make it out is if you're you are good at some type of sport. You try and make it out of the rap game, or you just simply in the streets out there trying to hustle and make as much money as possible. Those are the three things.
In the words of Biggie, you
Yep.
second rock or you got a wicked jump shot.
And that's it. Those are the three things that we have in order to pull us out of where we have grown at. And the dreams that we did have or whatnot were minimized and really snatched away. Snatched away because everything it is that we have seen is basically said that you can't make it that way. Even though there's a slim few that stick to it and that make it, but it's not enough for the average kid out there right now that's doggone got his little pad that he draws in every day to be able to say that, hey, I can make it this way. Because even as parents, that art ain't gonna get you nowhere. Either you gonna go to college, you gonna go into the military, or you gonna get a job.
That's it. You're 18.
One or the other. Versus us taking the time to cultivate that dream. You see your kid out there and he 5, 6, 7 years old and he drawing on everything. Instead of you putting them into art classes or whatever it is that is available to help him cultivate the dream that he actually has. Not pushing anything. You won't even take the time and to invest a little bit of money to purchase him new art equipment. Go get that joker easel. Go get him some different type of pencils, pens, pastels, all these paint, all these different things that you can do. So we are literally taught to believe that those things that we dream about, it's not going to happen. The only way for me to effectively and be a man the way that this world, this society, this Western society does, is for me to either go to college and learn how to be an employee, a good employee, right? Go into the military and fight for this doggone country, or go straight into the doggone workforce. Because let's look at it this way. Everybody, what's the averages of people being able to go into the NBA or the NFL?
Fractional.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then when you go to the NFL or the NBA, you can't come back around your way no more because Cat's
Nope.
going to be looking at you sideways.
And so literally, our ability to dream has been snatched away from us. And although I'm talking about men, it's the same with women too. But specifically right now, I'm talking to men. Because each and every last one of us, even on this panel, had some type of dream when we was coming up with what we wanted to do, what we wanted to be with our lives. Am I not right?
Yeah.
Man, I just want y'all, for the people that's viewing right now, think about it. know, my wife, she wanted to be an artist. The same thing was told to her, and that ain't gonna get you nowhere. It ain't gonna get you nowhere. It ain't gonna help you make any money. And that's literally what life is boiled down to. If you're not doing something that's going to bring in some money, don't do it. It ain't worth it.
So can I ask you a question?
Go ahead.
So everything seems to be based around money, and being in a Western society, this is a capital-based society. So everybody dreams are actually choked out by money instead of kind of thinking about it, because yes, you can. You could end up developing an art studio, or you could end up becoming an artist, and this, that, and the other, whatever the case may be. My question to you is this: since it's about money, okay, and since our people in particular are miseducated about money, how do you speak to power of what needs to be done in terms of money so that we can live a fulfilled life and pursue our dreams?
BBOC.
Word.
I mean, literally, we have to change.
So explain some of those concepts for people that may not know.
Okay, so we got to change the narrative, right? You know, money has been the ruler of this world for like way too long. And until we can show the rest of the world that there's a different way, that's just what it's going to be. BBOC, and I'm not going to get too deep into it, right? BBOC is basically designed to create new autonomous communities. And within these autonomous communities, all of your basic needs, everything that nature considers to be a basic need. We're talking about your ability to be housed, your ability to be fed, your ability to, when you get sick, be able to receive some type of healing. All three of these things should be basic human rights, but they're not. They're not. So we're looking at all of those bills and stuff that you would normally have to pay, that we pay right now, not having to worry about it no more at all. And the whole premise is everyone working together for the benefit of everyone. A complete economic structure, governmental, everything, all wrapped into one. All wrapped into one. And hopefully, through the establishment and it flourishing, we'll be able to show the world that there's a different way. Now, of course, the leaders and stuff ain't gonna want to have it because, you know, they benefit from all the money. But it ain't no different than how Rome used to be. If you control the people, you control you control Rome. So we had the people screaming for it, and everybody else is not going to have a choice but to change. So it's just a matter of changing the narrative. Changing the narrative. Our stress in life is having to make money so that we can give it away for our basic needs. For our basic
Water,
needs.
air. Yeah, we're paying for everything now. I even heard in Canada, man, they selling packages of air. That's some bull crap.
Yeah. Somebody dropped a doggone comment up here that I wanted to doggone say something about, but it disappeared on me. It disappeared on me. Hey, shout out to who is this? Nashawn Zion. Appreciate you being in here and voicing your opinion, man. We definitely appreciate it. Definitely appreciate it. But like I said, changing the narrative. It sounds highly simple, and it is. It is, because even the feminist movement was nothing more than changing the narrative. When you look at it, they changed the narrative. They changed the narrative on us, and all we have to do is change it back. And I'm not saying going back specifically to those olden days, but looking at what worked for us, what didn't work, and moving forward from there. Literally. What's on your mind, Chris, man? You look like you got a whole lot to say.
Just a little bit. Right now, the way I'm looking at this, there's no such thing as equality between the male and female genders. It's balance. The problem is the feminist movement brought in this thing of choice, so to speak, and it became a thing of equal rights on everything. If that was the case, there's no need for women, because now you're doing the same thing that men are doing. You're forsaking your role as a woman because you want to have a great voice. Now, you can put some blame on the man, because if he's not taking care of the things that are needed, then there's a problem, because that headship, you're not looking to what you want. You're looking at the whole of what everyone needs to survive and be productive. And right now we got too many people just doing what they feel is best. I listened to a woman talking about, yeah, the man is the head, he has headship, but he's supposed to be supportive. So if I'm making an opinion about something or make a choice about something, he should support that choice. She didn't even hear the flaw in what she was saying. It's like, yeah, you have headship, but if I feel strongly about something, there's no discussion. You're just supposed to support that. Surrender the headship to me, because at that point, I think my thoughts are better than yours. And that's been the biggest issue right now, that women don't tend to understand that a lot of the things that they're asking for is just, I feel that men act this way, so I should have this control in these matters because I think we can do it better. And 9 times out of 10, especially if it's a woman that wasn't raised around a lot of men, they don't really rationalize logically with stuff. And it's usually over opinionated and full of feelings and emotions, selfish borderline, and it only benefits one side. Men typically make decisions that encompass the whole thing. The reason why men and women have so many conflicts in relationships is because we look at things differently. And usually a man is thinking far beyond just the immediate result of a thing, but how it will affect everything that it encompasses. How is this decision going to affect each kid individually, you individually, myself individually, and collectively as a whole? How is this going to affect us in the long run? There's a lot of calculation in the thoughts that we do and the decisions that we make. But women oftentimes make decisions that can span a distance, but don't really work in the long run. It don't really support any future actions by anyone in a household. That's why women are better advisors. But when it comes to making rules, there's a reason why that headship was placed on the man. And a lot of times women want these things, but once they get in those positions, it's forsaking the things that their role encompasses. Because now the house is left to spoils because you wanted to take on something else that was more than what you were created to handle. And now the household suffers because my work is more important. My education is much more important. I don't have time to do these things. And they don't realize how strong their role is and how supportive it is. And they're built to handle those type stresses of the house. But a lot of women now don't want that responsibility.
All right, so let me ask you this question. What about the women who are placed with having no choice but to be the head? Because, like I say, I'm speaking from experience. My mama had nobody to lead. She had to lead. She had to be the advisor, like you said. She had to, for the most part, lay down the discipline, the laws of the land in the house, all the type of stuff. She ain't had nobody to, you know, to take over the reins, man. She wanted to give the man that power. The man couldn't handle the power. He wasn't equipped to handle the power.
Accountability.
It goes back to, because I mean, the thing is, we aren't taught how to.
Hold on. I got you. Accountability on whose behalf, though?
On ours.
Who's our?
Accountability as far as men is concerned.
Okay.
Let me ask you this. How many uncles do you have?
That's not in my age group. I have 1, 2, 3, probably about like 9, 8, 9, something like that, somewhere around there on both sides.
Okay. Okay, so that means there was, if we was being accountable as men, out of all 9 of them uncles that you had, somebody should have been able to step in until somebody else or a man came along that was capable of being able to fulfill that role.
They tried to, but by the time when they tried to, it was too late.
But that's the thing. That's where accountability comes in. That from the moment she gave birth, they should have been there. Now, speaking to myself even on this as well, because I have nieces and nephews, things of that particular nature or whatnot. Where's my footprint in their life? Where's my footprint in their life? It was for a while, for a few years, that my sister, she was sending my nephew, come stay with me over the summer. Come stay with me over the summer. And basically, I treated him just like one of my kids. Just like one of my kids. Everything I had my kids doing, he was doing. But what happened was, this is what happened. He a little on the sensitive side. Don't like to be physical. And every last one, I'm talking about, from the little one,
even out to the baby, they all want.
Every last one of them rough. So he's going from an environment where it's just him and basically a bunch of women to now you're in an environment where it's primarily men. And he's not knowing nor understanding how to operate in this doggone environment. But I liked it that he was being here because it was forcing him to learn. But what happened was mama so-called being protective, not understanding that this is not protecting your son. This is hindering him. See, even in that, our view of what protection is versus what the women's view of what protection is different. Because whereas she's thinking that she's protecting her son from having to go through these things, right? Our view is, let's go, you're going to go through these things in an environment where at the very least you have people that care about you and love you. Right? That way, when you do get in an environment where these things are taking place and these people don't give nothing, don't care nothing about you, right? Where they can literally, they literally know how to function and operate. And the biggest thing was, I'm big on, as far as protecting, if you can't protect yourself, how can you protect the family as a man? Think about it. Which is the reason why I have each and every last one of my sons, especially my sons, boxing. So they know how to physically be able to defend themselves.
Hey, hold on for a second. One of your people that go to the gym, she just said that y'all got a lot of daddies at the gym too that be scared when their sons get up in that ring.
Oh yeah. There's a lot of that too. There's a whole lot of that too. You got some of these, I don't want to, but but again, that comes with upbringing. Comes with upbringing. Now, I understand as far as being a parent, you don't want to see your kids get hurt or anything of this particular nature or whatnot, but some things are necessary, especially when it comes down to us men. Some things are necessary, but you'll be amazed at working at the gym how often we have kids that are real timid, real fragile or whatnot, and you give them just a little bit of confidence in themselves and whatever difference it actually makes in their life. Complete 180. Complete 180. Just a little bit of confidence in themselves. So my thing, when I'm talking about accountability, right? Where is that man that's going to instill that confidence into that little boy? I don't care whether it's the daddy, whether it's the uncle, a mentor, coach, whoever, right? Where are we at? Because the concept of today is it's none of my business.
That's a fact.
It's none of my business. When we in the grocery store, right, and we see that mom over here with 2 and 3 doggone kids, and you got that one kid or 2 kids that's running all around the stores or whatnot, we looking at her like you need to maintain your kids, and type of deal versus, hey, little one, that's your mom over there. You need to get by her side, stay by her side.
I will not lie. I do that all the time when I see it. I walk on thin ice because you know how some parents are kind of iffy about you talking to the kids, especially your strength. But I give them that look, and I talk to them, and the mama look at me like he talking to you, and they straighten right up too. I'm like instantly, like, oh, he ain't playing game. Mama, I can get away with it with mama, but that one ain't gonna play.
See, but you a real.
I'm sorry. I can't touch the child. I'm not gonna touch the child. I just want to let them know. I'm like, let him or her know, especially the little boys. You out of pocket.
And you don't have to touch the child. You don't have to touch them. Just our presence.
Yeah.
Just our presence.
You talked about that a few weeks ago, Yane. It's so crazy because we you talk about men. We allowed ourselves. We take responsibility because we have allowed us to get into this situation, right? Because we didn't want to be confrontational, but it's a time and a place for confrontation. And you're a real one, D, because a lot of people will see a kid act up in the store and they'll say, man, that ain't my business, or whatever the case may be. And most of the time there'll be people that look just like you. And you saying, well, that ain't my business. But it is, but that's the point. Our community is our business. It should be our business. We can't just be living like, okay, as long as everything in my house look good, I'm good. We have to be, once we get, look, we need to be men of accountability and responsibility. We need to not run from responsibility. We need to accept more and more responsibility and ask the Most High to enlarge our territory so we can acquire the resources, the time, and the energy so we can do that. Because like I said, it's not, it's a tall order, but it's an order that a man can do in terms of running and regulating his household. But it takes a greater man to be able to step outside of his household because he got that all functioning and saying, I'm going to help in other areas too. I'm going to be a mentor because these kids, some of these daddies, you can blame them, but then you understand why they are underdeveloped. Because they didn't have a man around or whatever the case may be. I remember, like, my mom used to tell me when my oldest brother and sister, all our uncles were around, and they were around in droves. And I saw how that helped them. I don't know what that is. Okay, I saw how that helped them. And then when me and my brother came along, it was like, my dad, when he was around, he used to try to get them to stay away. You know, he tried to get them to stay away, and they respectfully just stayed away. And then my dad took off. And so I saw the difference between how my oldest brother and sister approach things in life, and how me and my brother, we struggle with those things in life. That's why I give so much tremendous credit to my coaches and stuff like that. These were male figures that, you know, put me in line, taught me what accountability was, taught me what it was like to be in the arena. And that's what you do. That's what fathers do. That's what men do. Their idea is, look, I want to protect you, but I want to give you as many tests within the protection as possible, because I'm not going to let it go too far. I'm not going to let it destroy you. But the world, like I talk about wisdom and experience, the world doesn't give a darn about your child. So your child is going to go through experiences, and the world will beat on your child until your child is destroyed, in jail, or whatever the case may be. But if they don't have some semblance of being in the arena, if they don't have, if all week before the game they didn't practice, they didn't understand the plays, they didn't understand what the opponent was going to do, then when it comes game time, you can't walk on the field and play the position for them.
Nope. No, you sure can't. At all. At all. Now, look at it this way, right? If you're training your son to run, right, whenever there's an issue, just beat feet. Just beat feet. What do you think is going to happen when he gets older and comes across issues? You're going to run. You're going to run from him. Because you haven't showed him nor put him in positions to where he had to sit down, use his mind, or to have to stand his ground and fight for whatever it is that he actually wanted. Standard time. If you missed it. Don't get me wrong. I know a lot of single moms out here, a lot of them, and I be feeling for them. I be want to take all their kids for real. But the reality of it is I can't, which is the reason why I spend so much time at the gym. Because at the very least, you know what I'm saying, I'm able to get an hour and a half, 2 hours, or however many times out of the week you actually bring them to me, or to us, to all the coaches in the gym. And we all feel the exact same way. We're going to impart something into them. Everybody ain't meant to be a competitor, but bring them in there. We're going to teach them something. Period. But literally, that's what it boils down to, is accountability. You have to start being accountable. And I'm not just talking about for the kids that's in our house. Now, there's another issue that's going on as well, right? Because you have some fathers that are in the house. They in the house, but they not in the house. You got some fathers that go to work, come home every day or whatnot, and nothing. Not spending no time with the family, not doing anything. There's some of us that grew up just that way. Our fathers was around, but they weren't around. Mentally, they was checked out. They was someplace else. So literally we knew, you know what I'm saying, that he was there, but that outside of that, that was it. That was it. And we still got that going on to this day. Accountability for those as well. What are you doing with your kids? The ones that go to work, come home, and that's it. What are you doing with your kids? Because right now, the only thing you teach them is, okay, you need to be there. You need to work. But it's more to life, especially when it comes down to rearing up our boys, than just that. And I know some of them. All they do is they go to work, they come home, they get on the game. That's it. Don't do nothing with the family at all. That's an issue when it's issue within itself. What do we do? What's y'all thoughts? Y'all let me know.
You know, I think that if you come home, and I think if you go to work and you come home and you just shut it down after you come home, then that's a fitness issue. That's a health issue. And people seem to forget you got to have a fitness for whatever you do. And accountability is understanding it when you're not fit. You know, some of us are overweight, and it takes all the energy just to do the basics of what we're supposed to do, and then we want to sit back and we want to get credit for it, like I'm handling my business, like Chris Rock said, man. I take care of my kids. Well, you're supposed to take care of your kids. Right, look, I sent my kids. I sent my kids back to school shopping. Like, you're supposed to send them back to school. And it's just like we become a society where the things that we're supposed to do without getting merit or credit for, we want a whole bunch of credit for it. Like, that's the stuff that we're supposed to do. Now, what you do get credit for is doing what you're supposed to do and what you do extra. And what I mean by extra but mandatory is when you come home from work, what you doing with your kids? What you doing with your wife? Like, were you spending time with your wife? You know, whatever it is she needs. Like, I don't care what it is. Like, grease her scalp, rub her feet. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes run that bath water. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes it's sitting down and watching her favorite show. It's whatever the dynamic of that house is supposed to be. Are you doing that on a consistent basis? And if you're not doing that on a consistent basis because you say, oh, man, work got me so tired, that's an energy issue. That might be a testosterone issue. You need to go and you need to find out what you need to do to get fit for it. And you need to get fit so you can do what you got to do. And when you finish your task for the day, you should still have some energy.
Agreed. That is a big part in it. That does play a big part. Having the energy to do it. I suggest if you one of them men that don't, you better start taking some supplements, some vitamins, something of that particular nature. Or not, because you mess around, you lose your kids and your wife. For real.
You better get you some sea moss, man. You better get you some sea moss.
All right, but outside of accountability in your family, one of the biggest downfall, I ain't gonna call no names. You know what I'm saying? I was very close to the situation. Doesn't need to hear no that. It's the accountability within your circle. This man will let his circle influence his wrong decisions. And whenever it created turmoil in his family, the friends were nowhere to be found. They still living happily ever after. But now your family is in shambles because of your actions, listening to somebody else giving you bad advice.
Yeah. So, Chris, what you got going on over there, man? Oh boy, but this I will say, right? This I will say is that the good thing is it's enough of us out there that's looking for change. And the type of influence that we have, we have the ability to influence the change that's needed, that's necessary, and we're going to do it. We're going to do it. We have to, for the sake of ourselves, for the sake of our women, for the sake of our households, for the sake of the community, for the sake of the nation as a whole. We have to. We have to. And the first thing is accountability. Accountability within our homes, and accountability outside of our homes. You got to be able to hold things down in the house in every aspect. In every aspect. And that means taking accountability for yourself first. In every aspect. How much time are you imparting into yourself? Because some of us as men forget about that. How can we effectively and efficiently love and care for the individuals that we're responsible for? We're not taking no time for ourselves. You got to be able to provide yourself with some form of self-love. You have to. Take some time away. I don't care whether it's an hour a day, 20 minutes a day, something of that particular nature to recharge. Just to simply recharge. Because we need it. Pamper yourself. Pamper yourself. Our women have done a good job of being able to do that. The ones that are capable. We need to be able to do it for ourselves as well. I don't care if you going to the barbershop getting your hair cut is a recharge. Do it. Do it. Some of us get that recharge from off playing the game. That's cool. Just make sure there's some balance with it. Because you would be amazed at how many women I come across that complain about how much time you spend on that game. Got to be balanced. For real. Got to be balanced. You can't be spending 12 hours on a doggone game. Straight. For real. And there's some of us that do it. Some of us that do it. But even in that, it requires balance. What's up?
Hey, I want to circle back around to the money part because D made a good he brought this up and he talked about some men don't have the the oomph to go out there and start a business or things of that nature or whatever the case may be. And I think that for those that believe in the Bible, I think the Most High will meet you wherever you are. It's not about where you are. It's about where you're going and the steps that you're taking to get where you're going. And I think one of the problems because we're so miseducated in terms of finances or whatever the case may be, is we say we need to learn how to say no. Okay. All right. Like for an example, we feel like cable is a necessity. If you're in a situation and cable is, if you're in a situation, your cable, you need to get that out of your head. And I think and that's what emotions do. It makes us distort what need is and what want is. And so if you see TV breaking up your family, or if you see your family is consuming so much TV, try taking it out of the house or try unplugging it for a period of time and then just study the results of what that gives you. Try going outside sometimes at 10 o'clock and 4 o'clock and get you some sun. I mean, you talk about being sick and malnourished and everything like that, especially if you look like us. I mean, the optimal time to go outside and get you some sun is 10 o'clock and 4 o'clock. Take your family to the park. If you were going to be sitting there watching a TV show or whatever the case may be during those hours, substitute it with something that's fruitful like that. Or try to figure out how you can minimize your bills. I never forget, I just read this article. There's this football player in the NFL named Alvin Kamara. And Alvin Kamara is the running back for the New Orleans Saints. Alvin Kamara hasn't spent any of his rookie money, and he got a $75 million contract, and he hadn't spent a penny of that money either. And his mindset was like, I'm ready to live off of bread and peanut butter. Try to slim down your means, man, because you could, if you're making, like, say, for an example, $600 a week, but you live in $600 a week. You complaining, you check to check. Well, you in the same boat for somebody making $2,000 a week, and they live in check to check because they just elevated their living expenses all the way up to where their money is. And we got to get out of that. We got to try to minimize what we're putting out of our pockets, and that means sometimes telling the wife no. And I think in the society that we have today, like a lot of women, they want to be, they more interested in impressing other women, or stunting on other women, or styling on other women with that expensive bag, this, that, and the other, whatever the case may be. But if they just, if the family could agree to sacrifice for a period of time and invest that money, the next thing you know, the little percentage that they get from a lot is bigger than all of what they were getting from a little bit. And all it takes is, and you don't have to be a business owner. We talk about the 4 different cash quadrants, okay? Employee, self-employed, business, and then investor. You know, some people never become a business owner and become very wealthy. They just become an investor. And it's because they take their pennies and they're intentional about their pennies. And that's what we need to start doing. And we need to stop trying to keep up with the Joneses. If you make $2,400 a month before taxes, okay, you need to be trying to figure out how you can live off of $1,200. You need to really be doing that. And yes, it's going to be a squeeze and it's going to be tight, but resistance brings strength. Discipline makes you grow. How else are you going to enlarge your territory if every time you take your money, you just giving it out to the people? Somebody said that earlier today. You just taking your money and you just giving it out. You just going out there and you busting your butt for this money just to give it away again. Like, have some appreciation for how hard it was for you to earn whatever it was that you earned, and saying, you know what, God dang it, it took me a hard, boy, I remember working that double, and to be able to get this money right here, I'm so sick of having to do that. When is my exit strategy going to happen? You know what? I'm going to do something, man. I'm going to go buy a lawnmower, get myself in shape. I'm so tired of, okay, I'm going to get myself in shape. I'm going to go and buy a lawnmower, and I'm going to go cut some extra grass and make me some extra money, so I can make me some extra money, so I can invest some more extra money, so it can push me out of my job, and it can push me out of here. Because ultimately what we're supposed to be doing as living creatures is we're supposed to have authority over our entire day. And the only way you're going to have authority over your entire day is the very thing that you want, which is time, is the very thing you got to sacrifice. So, all right, I'm off my little soapbox. Go ahead.
No, you good. You good. So, oh man, you said a whole lot. You said a whole mouthful. Real quick, or not, because we've been getting a couple of comments. Or not, Nashawn Zion said, why don't Holy Nation / Brown King Z adopt single lost women in the hood and help the future count on one another? Okay, I know where you're going with it. We right here with it. But there's some maturity that needs to take place before we actually had that conversation. Trust and believe, we going there though. We gonna go there. We just not yet. Just not yet. Miss Joanna said, but not all men know how to balance home and their job / career. They will let their home go downhill, and they will be confused when things all go wrong, and not get why their kids don't have a relationship with them, and so on. I agree. But we as men have to become masters at balance. We have to become masters at balance. And, I don't take anything away from motherhood and what has to be done in the home. I think that is like one of the hardest jobs on this earth. But what we do is just as hard. Maybe not on the physical, but on the mental side of it, extremely. Extremely. And we have to, like I said, we have to become masters at balance. Being able to balance time for ourselves, balance time for our wives, balance time for our kids, balance time for the community, balance time for our relationship with the Most High, the Creator, or whoever it is and that you look at or deem as being a higher power. Balance. And there's only 24 hours in a day. 24 hours in a day. And literally 8 of those hours are taken from sleep. So literally you only have 16 hours. I'm trying to balance everything out. And so what you were talking about earlier, just a few seconds ago in reference to time, having to sacrifice some time, literally until we can get a grip on the balance and stuff that we, the time that we have so we can balance it out. That's what we're going to have to do as men. We want to sacrifice some of that
balance to have balance.
Yeah.
You know, here's what I want to say, man, to somebody that made that comment earlier about men not doing what they're supposed to do or whatever the case may be. We know that we have a lot of men out here that are not doing what they're supposed to do. All right. But if a man asks you for your hand in marriage, or if a man wants to have access to you on a relationship level that's serious, that could lead to being married, ladies, you know, and I know we don't spend a lot of time on the ladies, but I will say this about ladies. Ladies, you have the total authority of who deems themselves worthy of you. You know, before you go and get a business grant or loan, right? You have to submit a business plan, right? And so if somebody wants to be your husband, my question to you ladies are, you know, what have you seen from him that gives you the confidence that this person has a vision, this person has a game plan, and this person has shown you and exercised the means of making his vision manifest into the reality? Because once you, under the normal dynamics, once you submit to a man, that's exactly what you're doing. So that's not, you know, the time to say I don't believe in my man is not after you allowed him to accept you. Because just like a man can ask you, will you marry me? You can doggone say no, because this Western society has taught us that marriage is so much about love. And culturally, if you go back and look at our ancestry, marriage had little to nothing to do about love. And that's what we're getting this issue. And then here we are, you know, you ladies and gentlemen out there, you're madly in love with somebody. You say, nobody has ever made me feel this way. I'm going to get married to this person because this person makes me feel so good, right? But we know that emotions is like a cloud. It will limit and restrict your visibility. It will have you thinking about today, and it will have you not caring about tomorrow. So then when you sit there and you allow yourself to be that, you're already in the danger zone right there. So you got to have some keys, and you got to say, okay, when you're not in love, when you're single, when you're by yourself, you need to be thinking to yourself, okay, what do men want? Okay. And then the second thing you need to know is and the most important thing you need to be thinking about, what are you looking for? So that when the cloud comes and everything, like, that's already embedded in you. Because if a man, I'm telling you right now, and I'm not trying to attack men at all. But sometimes men will do whatever they got to do and say whatever they got to say to get what it is that they want. And I mean, that's just the reality of the deal. Now, a real man is going to be about his. But you know, everybody walking around ain't a real man. So if a man see a woman and she got some assets that he wants to partake in with regularity, he going to say whatever he got to say and do whatever he got to do for the time that he feels that he should do it to be able to get with you. And you ladies, you're going to have to, you control the access of that, because just like I said, I know it happens today. Men are supposed to propose to women. Okay. But men are supposed to propose to women. And You need to be thinking as logically and as crystal clear as possible. Can this person take me and the family that we will eventually have? Can he take us to places that we need to go? Forget how he blew your back out, okay? And think logically for a moment, because if you take love and you put it in the wrong atmosphere, it's going to die. And that's what happens a lot. You have the perfect love, and it's the wrong type of environment. The finances need to be in order. There needs to be a game plan in order. That actually is an environment that's conducive for love to thrive. But what we do is we don't even care about the environment. We don't even care about the circumstances. We don't even care about the pillars and the groundwork that it takes for love to thrive. We just put love in a jungle, and we put love in a hostile state. And then we end up taking all of that passion, and it turns into vitriol and hatred towards another. And then next thing you know, restraining order, somebody that got shot, hurt, killed, all because crimes of passion, all this other stuff that stems from an environment that changed love into hate. And hatred ain't nothing but love that don't know how to be expressed. Bam.
Oh man, goodness gracious. Hatred is nothing but love that doesn't know how to be expressed.
That's deep right there.
Man. That's oh, I'm telling you now, I'm about to make that a Facebook status. For real. People need to understand that one right there.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, man. It's no such thing as hate. Hatred is just a misunderstanding. You ever seen black people and white people, right? And then all of a sudden it's just like all of this hatred or whatever the case may be. And then a white person fall on hard times. He been racist all his life, and he had to go live in the hood. And then when he go live in the hood, he find out, oh, you do that too? You like that too? Man, I didn't know we had so many things in common. Man, I feel so stupid. I feel so stupid for hating you people. All this time we had so much in common. And it's an understanding clears up hatred.
Yeah. Yeah, it definitely does. Chris, what you thinking about, man?
There was a lot of points that was made, but a lot of the issues that we have is basically based off of ignorance. Everything that we are failing in is because of our ignorance. We're ignorant of our roles, our responsibilities, what we're accountable for, and because of that, we make excuses for the situations that we're in. Being a product of the law doesn't give you the excuse or excuses you from your responsibilities or your accountability. If I get shot, yeah, I wasn't supposed to be shot. But at that point, I got to do what I got to do to restore my health. And there's only so much that I can do in that moment. I have to find somebody that was made for that role, that has the knowledge and the expertise to work that thing. We can put this in the realm of the family. That wound would be your child. The absence of a father would be how much you can actually do at a point, or the absence of a mother, what you can do at a certain point. For the mother, it will be for a son. For the father, it will be for a daughter. Because you are a victim of a fault doesn't excuse you from the responsibilities of making sure that you restore a position. So me, if I fill out hard times, I don't have a wife, but I got 2 daughters in the house that I have to deal with and teach, train, and mold into women. There's only so far I can go. I need to reach out to my mother, my sister, a cousin, aunt, someone that understands these things to make sure that there's balance. But the same thing goes for our communities. there should be no lack anywhere, because the model of the house spans out into everything. The same way you work as a father and a husband, or a mother and a wife, is the same way that you approach everyone in the community. Even organizations, when a role is deserted, it must be filled somehow. Yes, somebody's going to have to take up a little bit, or there's be a shared level of responsibilities for those things, but ultimately that role has to be filled. But oftentimes we make a lot of excuses for falling into a position that we shouldn't have been in, but at the end of the day, you still got to do the work and hustle. Right now, I can say a lot of women don't understand. I like what Lee said, because marriage isn't about love. We have a responsibility of function, a way that we're supposed to live. We were put here to be fruitful and multiply. And that fruitfulness isn't just in producing kids, but also producing in the world, whether it be food, clothing, shelter, so forth and so on. We're supposed to function and keep maintaining life at all levels. But the fact of the matter is, we've forgotten our roles and we've stepped out of our roles. Our community is the perfect example of why we have this architecture or the structure set up the way it was, why it was ordained this way. Because it took infiltration of somebody else to disrupt our order. And now our community is like this. We forced women into roles ourselves and allowed someone else to force women into roles that they didn't belong in, and they struggled in those roles. And it's just as much our fault as the infiltrators. And women have taken on that mantle when they should not have had to. So everybody has a role to play in this, and it just needs to be fixed. But we've got accustomed to this change and this shift that we make excuses for the life that we live. One thing that I learned early in age was I can't be mad at nobody but myself when I'm in a situation, no matter if it was by my own doing or somebody else's, because I'm responsible to how my life progresses from that point. So no matter how many people step on what I have going on, I'm responsible for making sure that my life is productive, taken care of, and nurtured the right way. There's no making excuses for the position that you're in. Recognize where the faults are, fix everything as much as you can, and bring restoration. Because if we don't seek to restore, we're just going to continue to make excuses and live in the same funk.
I agree. I agree. I believe that we definitely got to get back to the point where we restore the roles that we actually had. I think part of the reason why we lost it is because of how those roles is actually painted. You know, we lost the significance of them and the appreciation for our differences in each other. To me, there's no greater position than that stay-at-home mom. One of the greatest roles. And I say that because you impact every facet of the community and the culture. Why? Because you are the teacher. You are the teacher and you're the nurturer. Just think about everything that has come into our community since that role has been vacated. You see the abuse of some of these kids that go to these daycares, the molestation that has taken place from, I mean, literally within these places that we sending our kids off to. Now, don't get me wrong. I know it still happens, you know what I'm saying, within our culture, within the homes and things of that particular nature or whatnot. But before we got to the point where we had to find a place to send our kids so that we could go work, didn't have it as much. It didn't happen as much. There's nobody that's literally there to maintain that accountability for our kids. Daddy at work, mama at work, kids on the corner. Y'all were literally the front line of defense when it came down to our kids.
And who can love our babies better than you?
Exactly. Who can nurture our babies better than you? Who can protect our babies better than you?
Invested, you know, and who's got an invested interest in that baby more so than you?
Exactly.
I like the point that D made when we were on one of our private conversations yesterday, when speaking about women, because the modern woman today is always looking for, what can you do for me? What can you get from me? How can you make me happy? And they don't understand that the role that they have, as described, when it's done right, you can't stop a man from pouring into you. Everything that you ever think to mention, he's gonna top that because he looks at you differently.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're taking care of, because a man understands the stress that comes with raising kids, the work it takes to do laundry, to fold clothes and clean and cook. I definitely know I'm the cook of the house, believe that. Those down. But the thing is, we understand how much of a load that is, even though y'all are built to or more equipped to handle those things, especially mentally, than a man is. A man recognizes that and he honors a woman that's doing that thing. But we had too many people in society, especially with the first wave, even prior to the first wave of feminism, indoctrinated women and told them that they're being abused and taken advantage of, being expected to do all this work. And that has destroyed everything that we have right now. Because like we were talking about earlier today, one of the problems we have right now is we got women back then came together and worked together, helped each other, encouraged each other in a positive environment, teaching one another. Now it's all about women empowerment and stroking each other's ego. You know, you a queen, you great, you got it, yada, yada, yada. Just terms of endearment and praise, but there's no backing, there's no support, there's no real love, because love is not an emotion. Those emotions and feelings are a product of love. Love is an action verb. It requires work, not feelings. Because look at how many relationships are ended and why? Because that flame is gone. I don't feel the same. You don't do this. You don't make me feel this way. This was, my love is lost because you don't feel like something. Guess what? If you heard from any of these grandmas and great grandmas, they will slap you in your mouth. What you know about feelings? This ain't about feelings. It's a duty. A lot of women fail at marriage and don't want what marriage is when they realize what it actually requires and what it entails and what it's about. It's true function, because it's more of a business than it is a pleasure.
I remember. Now, I've never physically seen it, but I remember the conversations and the stories about how the mothers used to literally come together, right? If a mom got sick or if she just had a baby or something like that, where they got together, the mothers of the community got together. They would fix meals. They would come to the house and help clean the house. It was a bond of womanhood.
Yep.
A bond of womanhood to make sure that you didn't want for anything.
Now they don't even like each other anymore.
At all.
They do, man. All we have to do, like, why do you listen? Just, this is ladies and gentlemen alike. Just think for a second. All right, put your feelings aside for a second. I just want you to think about something. Why would the elites go through excruciating, strenuous measures to suppress history. Why would they do that? I'm going to tell you why. Because if you have history, real history to go back and look at, common sense would say, when was it the best time for my people? And what were we doing? Now, I got to caution you now. Some of the things you're going to see, you ain't going to be, with your westernized mind, you ain't going to be down for it. But you got to ask yourself, at what time frame in our history were we doing the best, when we were thriving, when educationally, business, economically, when were we doing our best? That's what you have to look at. And if you have that information, and ask yourself right now, with everybody, with women in general today being the way that they are, and with men today in general being the way that they are, do we like the results of what do we like the results of what we have? Because insanity is doing the same thing and expecting a different result. You ain't no exception to the rule, man. If you put in work, you get out work. You sow seed, you sow apple seeds, you're not getting orange seeds. So if you don't like the harvest of what you're getting in this community or as a person, ask yourself, when, at what point, what were we doing when things were going good? Because there was a good time for us at once upon a time. And if we can just go back to just looking at that, and we stop waiting if we stop waiting for massa to spoon feed us the information that we need, and we take it upon ourselves and work out our own salvation and go and do our own research in the information age that we live in, we're going to see there was once upon a time where things were going good. And then if you see that things were going good at that particular time, why not do what we were doing that made us great? Who can argue with that? Because the truth is stubborn.
D, what you got going over there, man? You look like you got a whole conversation going on. Don't look at it. Oh man, that look dope. So we started out on the feminist movement, right? And whether it's been a blessing or a curse to our community, we all agreed that it's definitely not a blessing. Definitely not a blessing. And you know, we got to change the narrative on it. The end of the day. The end of the day. But it's about that time. We got to wrap everything up now. Yeah, so I'm gonna give everybody an opportunity to get their final thoughts, and we'll go from there. We'll go from there. Who want to go first? Let me call people out.
Before I say anything, I want to address this one comment. I was talking, you just said that we cater to our kids too much and trying to protect them too much more. Now you're saying we're the best one for the job. Women are equipped for the job. There's a different mindset of how women raise kids in the past and the mindset of women now. Nowadays, women coddle kids a little more than they should. As far as protection, a lot has changed because a lot of things was protecting them from the dangers of little things in the house. But honestly, you're equipped for the job. That's the concept, the point that we're getting to. But as far as catering to the kids, you're the best at nurturing. You know what your kids need. But there's a big difference between the past and being equipped and now being equipped, and it's more of a coddling thing rather than training, because kids should be exposed to certain things, but it's a different mindset these days, especially when it comes to women raising boys. But honestly, as far as the mother's role, nurturing and so forth and so on, yes, you're the best ones for the job. You're equipped for it. But my last point was we need to get to the nurturing, to the restoration phase. There's a lot of things that need to be restored, not just in the community, but as a whole in this nation, because we've lost all sight of order and balance, and there's too much side against side. So we need to come together, discuss what it is that we should be doing, understand our roles and how we should be interacting within the community and abroad. Do that and put it into work, because we're not going to get anywhere until we get into the point where we're restoring what was messed up. Restoration comes first, because you can't have order if you haven't restored it. It takes work. We got to stop making excuses for where we are and just look at what we're saying, that, or what we see, where we see ourselves. Look at that. What are we complaining about? These are the problems. Now that we address the problems, let's create the solutions and put them into action. That's it.
Who we got going next? Leah D. He said, go next, Lee.
I know, he pointing. Man, we got to dream again. We have to dream for ourselves, and we have to dream for our children. We have to be creative. If there's a dream and a desire that the Most High put on your child's heart, as a parent, it is your responsibility to investigate that and cultivate it into manifestation. Because the Most High doesn't make any mistakes. Even if your child say that they want to be, even if your child say they want to be something with cooking, or if they want to be something in terms of drawing, or something that doesn't make a lot of money, so to speak, your job is to make sure that you cultivate that. Your job is not to stop your child from dreaming. Your job is to encourage your child to keep dreaming. They may change their mind about what they're dreaming about, but your job is to help manifest what they're trying to dream up. We're supposed to support our children. And then we got to start dreaming again, too. And I know as men and women that we have a lot of circumstances in front of us, but we have to start cutting things out of our lives, because some of the things that we have in our lives impede us from dreaming. And we got to cut those things out so we can have simplicity in our lives, so that we can dream again, and so that we can have aspiration again, because it's nothing like living a life and you have no dreams. You just existing. And I mean, do you think you were really put here to exist? Or do you think that you were put here to dream, to manifest, and make the place better when you come through here? Because we are spiritual beings having a humanistic experience, not human beings having a spiritual experience. That's just been the pawn that's been used against us so we can fill up the tithe and the offering plate. We got to start doing it the opposite way again. We've been perverted. We need to revert back to what we were designed to do, which was to pull from the spiritual realm what we need in the natural realm. And there's a process to doing that in terms of speaking and doing. But if you let circumstance dictate what you're going to dream, you will dream about nothing. And when you die, nobody's going to remember you, and there'll be no remnants. And your works should extend beyond your grave. When you're gone, your works are supposed to live on. People who made an impact in this world, people who really made an impact in this world, when they die, they don't feel like they're gone, because their work, their essence breathed through their work. But they had the ability to dream, to make those things happen. If you don't dream, you are nothing. So remember that. If you don't dream, you are nothing. And if you can't seem to dream, that's because your life is too convoluted with bull crap. And you need to clean. You need to do some spring cleaning in your life, so that you can dream. And don't share your dreams with everybody, man, because we got snakes in the barrel kind of mentality today. Man, keep your dreams to yourself. Keep your dreams to yourself and just work those things. Even the people that you love will shoot your dreams down. And they not maybe doing it because they really hate you. They just so programmed backwards that that's what they did. That's what they programmed to do. So you got to keep your dreams. I don't care how silly you think somebody else think your dreams are, man. Just go ahead and live out those dreams, man, because it's people with a whole bunch of money like Robin Williams who was unhappy and took his own life. And then there are people who make just enough money and they feel so rich and they feel so full. So ask yourself, what kind of life you want? You want to live a full life, or you want to live life to the fullest? Because one of them is going to lead to emptiness, and one of them is going to lead to all of the wealth and riches of the world.
It's amazing. So that man is giving that Grammy Award winning speech over there. All right. I'm going to keep mine short and simple. So, so with that being said, I'm not going to address the women. I'm going to speak directly to the men. There's a lot of people that want phenomenal experiences, but they want to provide them mediocre results. With that being said, if you want to change the narrative on how to combat the whole feminist movement or whatever, you got to get back on your job. It's just that simple. There is too much money out here and too many ways to get it for you to be living mediocre and for you to think that women need to appreciate the bare minimum that you provide them. Just that simple. I'm not ranting today. I'm done.
You never rant.
Not today.
All right. So, hey, look, as always, I've enjoyed the conversation. Thank you to the people that was in the chat and that responded. Definitely appreciate it. Hope y'all join us tomorrow for the discussion. My final thoughts is this. As men, we have to take the lead in changing the narrative. The only reason why this feminist movement is as powerful as it is because we've allowed it to be. It's as simple as that. The only thing that we have to do as men is get back into the place that we allowed them to be in and bring back the security. I mean, when I say it, bring back the security that they feel that they lost. Because really, that's what a lot of it boils down to. A lot of conversations that I have with women in reference to men leaving homes and things of that particular nature is because they don't trust them to provide the security that they need. When we already know that we are well versed and well equipped to be able to do it. So let's not talk about it, let's be about it. Let's take back the position that we have fumbled and allowed them to and to take position of, and let's run it the way that it needs to be run. And this time when we do it, we make sure we put up those safeguards to ensure that no one will be able to infiltrate our homes and be able to dismantle them the way that they have. It's as simple as that. But I know we got to get ready to get up out of here. Hey, again, Can I Be the Man? A letter from us to you. The book is on pre-order right now. Go to Amazon, Barnes & Noble. If you are an ebook reader, hit up the Kindle or Nook. You get it. The actual release date is April 26th. And when the book is released, we will also have the audio version for those people that don't have time to read or don't particularly like to read. Okay? We got you. Need everybody to go out there, grab it so you can get in on the conversation. Like I said, we changing narratives. That's it. We're going to change the narrative, and then we're going to change the way things operate, period, point blank. We got a lot of stuff in the street. Big shout out to, of course, Ateamtv, Buckeye Financial, the game shop. Y'all already know what it is, or the game store. My bad. The game store. If you need any throwback jersey, anything of that particular nature, hit up the game store. The game store, they got it. And of course, big shout out to Telemade Productions, as well as the Frequency. The Frequency, they have allowed us to bring our kingdom into their domain every Tuesday and Thursday from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. Make sure you join us up there. Hey, look, we moving. We moving, as simple as that. We do have a BBOC presentation coming up here soon. It will be in Fayetteville, North Carolina, I believe, at June 27th. June 27th. Still looking for a venue spot. Once we confirm the venue spot, then we will actually put out the flyers and all that other good stuff for it. Come find out what the solution is. Come find out what the solution is, and we will move from there. All right. But outside of that, hey, look, King has spoken, baby. We out.